All right, Jeff Zimmerman here with rising star, undefeated bantamweight, Anthony Garnica, 12-0, 7 knockouts. Got his next big fight for the NBA Intercontinental Bantamweight Championship against Aston Palicte, Thunder Studios, Long Beach, California, Saturday, April 19th. How you
Yes,
doing,
sir.
man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm getting ready. I feel better than ever, bro.
Yeah, man, we were just talking before we got on the air. You're in Oakland now, but grew up in San Fran or born in San Fran, right around
Yep.
the corner from where I lived. You're Bay Area, man, through and through.
Yep. Yes, sir. Bay Area, man. I love it out here, man. It's a blessing to be out here and a blessing to be back with the people, you know? Because I was gone for a little bit.
Were you down in SoCal for a while?
Yeah, I was. I was down in LA and yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. You're from the Bay Area, but you went down to LA. Is that because of the sparring, the training? You got wild card, obviously. What brought you
Yeah.
down there?
So yeah, it was a little bit of everything, you know, like boxing isn't as big as it is out there in SoCal. So I feel like going out there and meeting new people and just getting more connected in the boxing world, you know. And at that time I wanted to go pro. So I felt like LA was the place to go, you know.
And how long were you down there, Anthony?
I was down there for like about like 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
A
just
little-
training and I recently just had my first fight with my first ever trainer back home. My last fight in August.
and what was that experience like?
Man, it honestly it was the best fight yet. You know, it felt good to be back with my coach. I've been with him since I was 7 and it just felt great, you know. That I feel like something was missing and that was the missing piece, you know.
Let me ask you about that because a lot of guys go to LA. I remember when Spence turned pro and Derek James had been with them, even towards the end of his amateur career. And there was a lot of talk about him going to like Freddie Roach and kind of getting out of Dallas. And he stayed at home. He never
Yep.
left. Do you feel like you're like a small fish in a big pond when you go to like LA? Like were you at Wild Card or where were you?
No, I was at a gym called Legends Boxing Gym. It
Okay.
was in Norwalk.
Okay.
And yeah, well, I was, you know, fresh out the amateurs, trying to make it in the pros, and of course you're gonna feel like that, you know, but it's just putting in the work, you know, and I feel like all the work has led me up to where I'm at now.
Yeah, and you're back in the Bay Area. You started boxing when you were 7.
Yes.
What got you to the gym? Like what was it that got you into boxing? Talk about that journey a little bit.
Yeah. So I've always played sports. I started playing soccer first, but I didn't really like it. My dad was a soccer coach, but my dad really loved boxing. And he came out to the States at a real young age, and so he never got the opportunity to box. And I feel like he put me in boxing um 'cause he's seen it. He's seen something in me and he's always wanted to do it, but he never had the opportunity to. So I feel like I'm living his dreams, you know, and I just want to do it to the fullest and make him proud.
And where was your dad from?
He's from Michoacan,
Okay,
Mexico. Yep.
Mexico.
Yes, sir.
A lot of history in Mexico.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a fight because since you mentioned Mexico and it was just an anniversary, and I shared with you how I got started in boxing with Hall of Fame ref Richard Steele.
Yep.
Uh, Chavez, Meldrick Taylor, Julio Cesar Chavez, Meldrick Taylor. Have you seen the
Yep.
fight?
Yes, sir. And that's the fight my dad would always make me watch on YouTube when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was a badass fight.
And I got to ask you, and again, Richard Steele and I are very close. I've interviewed him about the fight. Uh,
Hmm.
did he make the right decision in stopping it with 2 seconds left?
I mean, as a ref, you're just looking out for the fighter's best and like the best for their best interest, you know? So he was just looking out for him and it might have been a close call, but he probably didn't know what how many seconds. He probably thought it was like more. So I feel like it was the right call.
I'm sure Julio Cesar Chavez is going to see this, and he's going to become a big fan of yours, the Mexican
Yeah, I
legend.
hope so. I hope so, man. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, yeah, I'll make sure it gets in front of him. But yeah, that fight was one of the best of all time. But let's talk
Yep.
about you though. Talk about just your amateur career. Just you got started at 7, obviously a young age. But talk
Yep.
about your journey through the amateurs a little bit.
Yeah, so I had over 100 fights. I did a couple national tournaments. I won national silver gloves. Sorry. I for 4 years I went to the nationals. I came in second, so I was a runner up. In 2018, I was an alternate for the USA Youth team. And I just been grinding, just trying to make a name for myself and just working.
Yeah, yeah. So you had quite the amateur career, and
Yeah.
now you're with Golden Boy.
No, not currently. No,
Okay.
I, I
Are
I
you
was I was with Golden Boy, but no, I just signed a contract with Showtime Boxing Promotions. This promotion that I'm fighting on the next fight.
okay? Okay. What can I ask you? I didn't see it, but
Yeah,
what happened with Golden Boy? Obviously, he's Oscar, B-Hop, top names in boxing.
yeah. I feel like it wasn't the best fit for me. So they just had a lot going on and a lot of fighters, and I was fortunate to get out of my contract and to go look for something better for myself.
Okay. So you left on good terms, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep.
Good deal. Good deal. Talk about some of the guys. You're 24, so nowadays guys your age are world champions. Talk about
Yeah.
some of the guys that you maybe fought in the amateurs or maybe even sparred with as a pro. Like who are some of the names out there? Because I don't know much about you, Anthony, but I love
Yeah.
learning about young fighters and talking about them and letting the fans that you've had a hell of a background.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've actually fought I think they're both world champions. Raymond Ford.
Mhm.
I fought him in Kansas City in a national tournament, and I fought Keyshawn Davis also at the nationals.
Wow. How did those fights go?
So I lost both fights, but they were both very close fights. I felt like I've never lost a fight like one-sided fights. I've always held my own and I've always showed what I've had. So I gave them a fight. I could say they could say the same. And yeah, I've been in there with some top guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't need to tell you, Keyshawn Davis is one of
Yep,
the
he's
top
doing his
young
thing. Yep,
fighters in all of boxing.
yep.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised having been in the ring with them, even though you lost, you were competitive, to see where he is now? Does that surprise you at all?
Nah, not at all. He's always had that from what I've seen, he's always had that hunger and he's always been real dedicated to the sport, from outside looking in.
Yeah, yeah, he seems that way. He kind of
Yep.
cut from that Crawford, that Shakur, boxing is everything type of,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
is the same mentality I get from you.
Yep. Exactly. I'm just trying to, like you said, they're young world champions, and I feel like we all have different paths. I I know I'm gonna get my shot one day.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about just as a pro, who are or just as a young kid, we talked about Chavez, but was there anybody else like just growing up, maybe, during Floyd's time or like not so far back, like,
Yeah.
the legend Chavez, but were there some guys that you modeled your craft against?
I really like Oscar de la Hoya. Yeah, I really like his boxing style. He really like the way I move. I feel like I kind of have that same movement, hands up, that fast jab. Yeah, I looked up to him a lot.
On your toes?
Yep, on my toes. Yep, exactly. Just speed, that speed.
Yeah, so when you signed with Oscar, the
Yep.
Golden Boy, that must have been a dream come true.
Yeah. Yep, it was. It was, man. And it was just a blessing to be there and to see it all like go down. But like I said, we all have different paths, and I feel like God's put me in this path for a different reason.
Sure, sure. And just one other question on Oscar. Did you get any advice from him, while you were there, or him or B Hop? Because I know those guys are always giving young fighters championship advice.
Yeah. They just told me to keep working hard, you know, to to just stay disciplined and to keep pushing.
Yeah. So how would you describe your style? And again, I'm here with Anthony Garnica, rising star, 24 years old, rising star in boxing. What is your style? You mentioned you'd like to Oscar, like boxer, puncher. Would that
Yep.
describe you?
Yeah, exactly. That boxer puncher, fast jab, slick moving, a little bit of everything I could do.
And tell me, Anthony, the guy you're fighting, Aston, what do you know about him? What is there any concerns that you have to be careful with in when you face him? Talk about him a little
Yeah.
bit.
We've been watching film. We know he's really experienced. He's been in there with top guys, and just we know he has a good uppercut, good right, and just we just been working on things that can work in this fight.
Okay. And
Yeah.
in being a bantamweight, there's got to be, obviously the monster in a way is undisputed. What are your thoughts on him? It's probably not likely for you to get a shot at him, based on where he is and where you are right now. But just what are your thoughts in him as a fighter?
Man, he's a great fighter overall. I feel like he has the speed, the power, and the movement, and yeah, he's one of the top guys to do it now.
And is he someone you study to just to try to pick apart and learn from?
Yep, I do. I do. I like the way he boxes. I like the way he trains. There's a lot of things you could pick up from him.
Yeah. Where do you feel like you 24, you're still young, 12 and 0. How many fights do you think to where you're going to be fighting for one of the belts?
I mean, honestly, I have this fight in front of me, and I'm just taking it fight by fight. Um, who knows? Five more fights, one more fight. I'm really focused on this next fight.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
which is smart. Let me ask you, and we'll get you out of here, Anthony. I appreciate you doing this, man. I'm excited to
No,
meet
thank
you
you,
one
man.
day, either in the Bay Area or here in Dallas. But
Yes, sir.
some big fights coming up. A lot of young talent out there. We're starting to see, with Turkey Al-Sheikh coming into the mix, throwing some big money out there and making the big fights happen. Um, we got Devin on a big card against Jose Ramirez. We got Ryan against Raleigh, Teofimo against Barboza. How do you see each of those fights playing out?
They're all gonna be great fights. They're all top dogs fighting each other, and my predictions, I feel like Ryan, Ramirez, and Teofimo. I mean, Ryan Ramirez, right?
Jose Ramirez,
Yeah, Jose Ramirez, and who's that last one?
Teofimo versus Barboza.
Yeah, Teofimo.
Okay, so you got
Yeah,
Jose Ramirez though, beating Devin.
yep.
What do you see in that fight?
I just feel like he's gonna bring out that Mexican style and put that pressure on him.
Were you, even though Jose is a little bit older now, towards the end of his career, you think
Yep.
he's too much for Devin? Is it because of his performance against Ryan or what?
Nah, nah. I just feel like styles make fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a interesting prediction. Let me ask you, the super fight that looks like it's coming to play in September, Canelo and Crawford. How do you see that playing out?
That'll be a great fight. Uh, that one's up in the air. I always get asked this question, and I don't have like a solid answer, but I feel like it'll go all 12. That'll be my prediction.
Are you leaning one way? Do you like if do, like who would you favor going in? You know, a lot of people say the size of Canelo, he's been in that
Yeah.
weight, or just the dog
Yep.
in Crawford. If you had to put it on one thing, what would you say?
I'm leaning for Bud.
For Bud.
Yep.
All right. There you go. Got a prediction out of him.
Yeah.
Should be a hell of a fight though. But listen, man, tell me how can people follow you on social, buy tickets to the fight, and just start following your career, man, because you're a great young fighter, well spoken.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. My Instagram, you guys can follow me on Anthony_Garnica, and all the link to the tickets for my next fight, everything should be on my bio.
All right. And I have one more question for you. I almost forgot. I saw on your Instagram earlier, you had a shout out from the legend himself, Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, not many fighters at your level, have something like that. Talk about Roy a little bit in that relationship.
Man, it was just a blessing to hear Roy just give me some encouragement and hear from him. So I feel like it lit up a spark under my, just wanted to get after it even more and just train even harder.
And how did you meet Roy, or how did that relationship come about?
Just through the promotion companies.
Okay. But you got to
Yeah.
spend time with him?
Just talk on the phone.
Okay. I know Roy does his own promotions and uh, works with trains a lot of young fighters too. So I thought that was pretty cool to
Yeah.
get one of the goats. All right. What should we expect, man? April 19th, back down in SoCal, Long Beach, for the NBA, what is it? Intercontinental bantamweight title. What should we expect, Anthony?
Just me getting my hand raised. That's all.
No predictions of knockouts or
I'm just going in there with our game plan and wanting to execute and winning the fight. If the knockout comes, it comes.
all right, man. You heard it. Rising star, Am I saying your last name right? Garnica?
Yes, sir.
All right. 12-0, 7 knockouts. Fighting Aston Palicte, Saturday, April 19th. Don't miss it. And I hope to talk to you soon, man. Good luck.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.